Anatimirandhasya Dhyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Tadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Mukam Karoti Vachalam Angom Langhayate Girim Jatripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadeshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much. You can turn this off. Don't need this yet. So. Thank you. All right. So good morning, everyone. Really happy to be here with all of you in Eindhoven. Football, so I know PSV Eindhoven. That's all I know about Eindhoven, but the most important thing is that all of you are here in Eindhoven, and actually it's said that wherever spiritual people congregate, then it no longer is a material place. The whole atmosphere becomes charged, and other people ring in wanting to come. So in a beautiful verse in the Puranas is mentioned, Naham tistami kunthe yoginam hridayeshu va yatra gayanti mad bhakta tatra tistami narada. The Supreme Lord Divinity is saying that I'm not just in the spiritual world. I'm not just in the hearts of the accomplished yogis who are constantly meditating on me. Yes, I am in those places. But actually, yatra gayanti, wherever spiritual people are singing, wherever they're offering their hearts in devotion, tatra tistami narada, in that place I immediately appear. So right now in this assembly, we are not part of the material world anymore. at least for some time. We are actually in a spiritual oasis. Is my English okay? London English? Too fast? Too slow? Okay? Sometimes Londoners, they don't go slower than 100 miles per hour. It's a busy place. So if I start speaking too fast, then you let me know, please. So it's a very, very beautiful place and very beautiful opportunity here. And I was thinking what to speak about today. So there are two options. Would you like to speak about Krishna, or would you like to speak about Maya? For those of you who don't know what Maya is the force of darkness or illusion which covers us and covers our knowledge. So would you like to speak about Krishna or Maya? Maya! 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 Today I thought we won't speak about Krishna, we'll speak about Maya. Because actually it's mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Mayam Varayato Nutas Ishvarasya Numodata Shrinvatam Shradaya Nityam Mayayatma Namuyati. This verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam is an ancient book, an ancient literature, scripture. In this book is mentioned that if you speak about Maya in relation to Krishna, then what happens is if you discuss about Maya, Shraddhaya, Shrinvatam, Nityam, in a very attentive way, then what will happen? Maya Yatma Namuyati. You will never become bewildered by Maya. So actually, sometimes we also have to speak about Maya. We have to speak about illusion. Because illusion is what is covering our vision. Put your hands up if sometimes you feel like you know the right thing to do, but you keep doing the wrong thing. You are a victim of Maya. Congratulations. So therefore, today I thought, let me speak a little bit about Maya. And I am going to try to share with you the top 5 tricks of Maya. Because I have been a victim of each one of them. So I can confidently say in this class, I'm speaking out of realization. And so let us take some moments today to discuss the nature of illusion. Because if we can become free of illusion, then our life will be incredible. How do we even overcome under the influence of illusion in the first place? That's a question to ask. So the ancient teachers explain, Krishna bahir mukha hoya Bhagavan chakare nikata stamaya tare japati adhare. It sounds very beautiful, but it's actually very serious. Krishna bahir mukha. The moment you turn away from Krishna, or the moment you turn away from divinity or God, and you begin to look in another direction, then what happens? Hoya Bhagavan chakare. Because you have the desire to try to enjoy something separate from the spiritual reality, then what happens? Nikata star, situated close by, Maya dhare. Maya is waiting, Japatiya dhare. And then you immediately come under the influence of Maya. So this whole world that we're living in is created by Maya, the material energy or illusion. Even Hollywood has some truth, and therefore the Matrix got it right in some ways. That this world in one sense is not actually real. Imagine that. It's not real, but this is real, right? Yes, it's real, but it's temporary. This world is actually like a stage, a drama. Isn't it? Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage. And each person is an actor. And each person in their time has many entrances and exits. So actually, according to the ancient teachers, this world is a world of illusion. It's real, but it's temporary. And it's not actually where we're meant to be. But because we desire to enjoy, because we desire to explore, welcome to the matrix. So here we are in the matrix. And therefore, the spiritual teachers come to this world to teach us what we've forgotten. When Srila Prabhupada, our teacher, arrived in different places, then he was often greeted by the reporters, and the reporters would ask him different questions. So often he was asked the question, why have you come here? So one time when Srila Prabhupada was in San Francisco, the press reporter asked him, why have you come to San Francisco? Prabhupada said, because the rent is very cheap. It is cheap to rent a temple here. Another time, Srila Prabhupada was in America, and an Indian reporter asked him, Swamiji, why have you come to America? Prabhupada looked at the Indian reporter and said, why have you come to America? The Indian reporter looked at him and said, I've come for better opportunities. Prabhupada said, me too. But you came for better opportunities to earn. I have come for better opportunities to serve, to give, to help others. And when Srila Prabhupada came to London, then the press reporter asked him, why have you come here? And Prabhupada's reply was, I've come here to teach you what you have forgotten. So if you want to get free of illusion, if you want to get free of Maya, it's very, very simple. Krishna Bahir Mukha, turning away from Krishna, put you under illusion. So to come free from illusion is very simple. Turn back to Krishna. Krishna Surya Sama Hoya Maya Andhakar. Yaha Krishna Tahan Nahi Maya Radhikar. It's very simple to understand these words. Krishna Surya Sama. Krishna is just like the sun. Hoya Maya Andhakar. And Maya is like darkness. Jaha Krishna. Wherever there is Krishna, taha nahi. There cannot be Maya Radhikar. No question of Maya. So it's very simple. Simple. Just bring Krishna into your life. When you eat, bring Krishna there. When you sing, bring Krishna there. Anything you do, add in Krishna. But it's hard because Maya is very, very strong. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Devihi Yashagunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. Duratyaya means very difficult to overcome. So Maya is very difficult to overcome. One time a devotee had left the Krishna consciousness movement. And so there was an assembly like this. So Prabhupada asked, where is that devotee? So someone said, oh, that devotee, he left. He's in Maya. So then Prabhupada was very affected by that. And so Prabhupada was very concerned. And then another devotee said, anyway, Prabhupada, after he has been kicked enough times by Maya, he will definitely come back. And you know what Prabhupada said? He said, just as there are no varieties to the ways in which you can enjoy in the spiritual world, There are no limit to the varieties of ways in which illusion can capture you in this world. There are so many different ways in which Maya can overcome an aspiring spiritual practitioner. So broadly speaking, it's said that Maya has two potencies. The first potency is known as Prakshepatmika. Can you say that? Prakshepatmika. And this means the throwing potency. The first thing Maya will do is it will throw you. It will throw you off from doing what you're doing, and it will immediately tempt you into doing something else. Isn't it? This world is such a tempting place. There's so many things which tempt us and divert us and distract us and deviate us. And the second aspect of Maya is known as avaranatmika. Can you say that? Avaranatmika. Avaranatmika means the covering potency. So Maya is so strong that what happens is when Maya diverts you from spiritual happiness and brings you to material happiness, after some time you begin to realize this material happiness is not what I thought it to be. But then Maya has a second potency, which is called the covering potency. And that means even when someone is in Maya and they know it's not making them happy, Maya covers them so that they don't realize. So someone is miserable in the material world, they know it's not making them happy, but every single day they keep doing the same thing again and again and again. This is known as avaranatmika shakti. So in this way, it's a very, very complicated system. Maya's illusion machine is keeping everyone in this world, keeping everyone bound. And someone may say, why did Krishna make it like this? Because we wanted it. And ultimately, did you know that Maya is not just an energy, Maya is also a personality. And did you know Maya is not just a personality, but Maya is actually the greatest devotee of Krishna. Vaishnavi Jagamohini. Maya is known as Vaishnavi Jagamohini. She is Vaishnavi. Maya or illusion is a devotee of Krishna. But what's her service? Jagamohini. To put the whole world into illusion. What kind of job is that? Because we want to be an illusion, but the illusion and the difficulties that Maya brings is ultimately there to take us back to Krishna. Isn't it? Once Prabhupada said the job of Krishna and the job of Maya are exactly the same. Same? Yes. Prabhupada said Krishna comes in front of you and lovingly holds out his hands and says, come back with me to the spiritual world. But if you ignore Krishna, then what happens is Maya comes from the back and gives you a good kick. So how do you want to go back? You want to go back like this, lovingly? Or you want to get a good kick from the back? Up to you. The choice, as they say, is yours. So, but we have to be very, very careful of Maya, because there's different ways in which we get caught by Maya. So today I will share with you the 5 top tricks of Maya. Maybe you will recognize some of them in your own life. And if you haven't recognized them, maybe you're in Maya. And if you haven't recognized them and you're not in Maya, then be careful, because these things will probably come about very, very soon. All of you are on the spiritual path, But don't think Maya is asleep. Maya is around the corner. And you want to know the first trick of Maya? Complacency. When someone thinks, I'm doing good, I'm doing absolutely fine. When one is caught off guard, then Maya will come in a very, very small way. You see, when Maya wants to deviate you from the path, oftentimes Maya doesn't come in a big way. What Maya does is comes in a very, very small way. Just one, just a little bit. And what happens is Maya comes in like a needle and out like a plow. Before I joined the temple, I needed to get some money because I was in huge student debt. So I needed to get enough money to go to India. So I decided to become a baggage handler at Heathrow Airport. We are the people who break your luggage. Sorry about that. So I was working as a baggage handler in Heathrow Airport. And part of the job as a baggage handler is that you have to drive up the staircase to the plane so that people can come off. So I used to do that job. But once what happened is I was driving the staircase towards an Air France plane. So it's very dangerous. So therefore they had to check it. Maya is like this. Maya just looks for a tiny little gap in your life. And if you are a little bit inattentive, then Maya will come in and wreak havoc. We tell people casual means casualty. Therefore, one has to be very, very attentive. One has to be very, very focused. Otherwise, what you will find is that Maya keeps coming in. Maya will also come in disguise. Who was the first demon that came to Vrindavan to kill Krishna? Putana. And when Putana came into Vrindavan, did she come as a big demoness? No, no. She came in a very beautiful form, very charming. Everyone thought, who is she? Must be a demigod. In other words, if you're complacent, Maya will come in often ways that you can't even imagine. Very, very inconspicuous, and therefore never be complacent. Srila Prabhupada said, my only complaint of my students is that they are not sufficiently scared of Maya. So we should always be on guard. The first trick of Maya is complacency. Should I tell you the second one? The second trick of Maya is isolation. Sita Devi was protected. Lakshman was there to protect her, even when she was in the forest. But the moment the fake deer came and called Lakshman, and Sita Devi said, don't worry, I'll be fine, you go. Lakshman didn't want to go, but because Sita told him to go, he had to go. And then when Sita was all alone, then Ravan came. One of the most powerful tricks that Maya has to deviate the spiritual person from the path is that Maya will take you away from other spiritual people. And shall I tell you the most amazing thing? You will think you're making the decision. But actually, Maya is influencing you to distance yourself from the spiritual people who can give you strength, who can give you advice, who can give you protection. And so Srila Prabhupada often talked about Aesop's fables. And he explained that one stick by itself can easily be broken. But when you put many, many sticks together, then no chance. Therefore, never stay too far away from devotees. Even sometimes it's difficult to be with devotees, is it? Sometimes? Sometimes we all have different backgrounds, we all have different personalities, we all come from different cultures. Sometimes it's difficult to get along with each other. And then we think, I'd be better off without these people. I can do it myself. No, you can't. So therefore, always try to remain close to the devotees, because while you're in association, then you have protection. But alone, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Ekaki amar nahi paya bal harinam sankirtane. Ekaki amar, me by myself, nahi paya bal. Me by myself, I have no strength. Harinam sankirtane. May I always chant the holy name with other devotees. So yes, we have to tolerate. One devotee came to Prabhupada and said, I can't tolerate that person anymore. Prabhupada said, you have to tolerate him just as I'm tolerating you. We think everyone else is the problem, but we are the problem for someone else as well. But in this world, it's very difficult to meet a spiritual person. Therefore, when you meet spiritual people, don't let them go. Always remain together. Tadera charana sevi bhakta sanevas janame janame hoy ei abhilas. One of the Vaishnav poets sings, to live with the devotees, this is my only desire, life after life. So the second trick of Maya is isolation. Maya will take you away and you will think you're making the decision, but Maya is actually removing you. Are you scared of Maya? The third trick of Maya is a very interesting one. The third trick of Maya is what we call diversion. What Maya convinces you is that Maya convinces you to put your attention in other places. Maya tells you, you need to sort this out, you need to solve this, you need to work this thing out, and after you've done all of that, then you can do Krishna consciousness. So what Maya constantly does is divert your attention. She says, yes, definitely Maya says you should chant. It's a very good idea, but you got to do these things first. If you don't do these things first, how will you? So, yeah, definitely you should be a devotee, but this first. And then Maya constantly diverts you thinking, and we're thinking, if I sort this out, if I manage that, if I work this out, and then I'll do it. Just now coming. So like this, you can go a whole lifetime. Because shall I tell you what, dear friends, in life, you never sort out all the problems. Once Prabhupada was driving, he got stuck in a traffic jam. There was a sign and it said roadworks, temporary inconvenience, permanent solutions. Prabhupada looked at the sign and he said, life means temporary improvements, permanent inconvenience. If it's not a financial crisis, it will be a relationship crisis. If it's not a relationship crisis, it will be a health crisis. If it's not a health crisis, it will be a political crisis. Something will be there, always. Therefore, if you constantly try to make your life so perfect, then I will practice. This is Maya's trick of diversion. And therefore, this is another way in which the material world constantly diverts us from what is good for us. Fourth trick of Maya is known as hopelessness. Because sometimes we practice spiritual life and we think it's too hard. I can't do it. Sometimes we try and we're good for a few weeks, and then again we fall back into our old bad habits. And then we think at some point Maya tells us, Krishna consciousness is a good idea, but you are a bad person. And therefore it doesn't fit. Therefore, why are you taking so much trouble and then feeling so much guilt? Why are you going through this constant disappointment, frustration? Just let it go. Then you can at least be peaceful and happy. Then you don't have to constantly live with this feeling that you are falling short of the ideal. And therefore, the way Maya captures you is by making you hopeless, by making you think that it's too high, it's good for everyone else, but I will never be able to do it myself because I'm not strong enough. However, Krishna definitely says to Arjun, Devi hiya shagunamai mama maya duratyaya. Definitely. But then what does he say in the next two lines? Mamevaye prapadyante mayametam taranti te. There's no reason to ever become hopeless in Krishna consciousness, because the power of Krishna consciousness is always greater than the power of Maya. And therefore Krishna says, if you take shelter of me, then you can cross beyond Maya very, very easily. And so we should never give up. Dear friends, spiritual life is difficult, but material life is impossible. So for sure, it's difficult. It's difficult to become a pure devotee. But to live in the misery of this world, absorbed in material desire and attachment, is going to bring you far more pain, far more problems. And therefore, better to always remain hopeful and not ever think that I will not be able to make it. Because Krishna can do anything. And specifically in this age, Krishna comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is said, Kathanchana smrite yasmin duskaram shukaram bhavet vishmrite viparitam shyat Sri Chaitanyam namamitam. If you remember Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then even that which is very difficult can become very, very easy. But if you forget him, then even that which is very easy will prove to be very, very difficult. Therefore, no need to become hopeless, because you have the greatest hope. And the fifth and final trick of Maya I will share with you today. First one was? Complacency. Second one was? Diversion. Third one? Second was isolation, yes. Third one was diversion. Fourth one was hopelessness. And fifth one, pride. When one thinks that they're better than others, when one thinks that I have done it by my abilities, when one thinks that I don't need anyone to correct me, when one thinks I don't need to learn or hear from anyone else anymore, when one thinks that they are the center of it all and everyone should be learning from them, pride makes you a big target of Krishna. And therefore, when we're proud, then there's no opportunity to advance in Krishna consciousness. In English, when you're proud, they say you're full of it. Full of it means there's no room for anything new to go in. And therefore, the devotees always remind themselves that may I become more humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree. Because only when you have a humble heart, humility comes from the Latin word humus. Humus means soil. So only in a heart which is humble, only that kind of heart becomes a fertile place for love to grow. And so the moment that we become proud, then you become a target of Maya. And so all of these tricks of Maya that I'm sharing with you, they have been going on since time immemorial. Who got tricked by Maya in the sense of pride? Daksha. Daksha was, his name means very, very expert. But the problem is, he was definitely expert, but he became proud and began thinking that it was all his own credit. And therefore he offended Shiva and he fell down. Therefore, pride is like, I don't know if you, when you were a kid, you played snakes and ladders. Did you ever play snakes and ladders? Nowadays, you're on the iPads, so you don't know the glories of these board games. But in snakes and ladders, it was very, very interesting because sometimes you could get to square number 99. And you are right there, and then the longest snake is there, and it brings you right back down to square one. And that longest snake is pride. Because even if you're good, even if you've achieved things, even if you've received the mercy of Krishna, and by that you've accomplished so many things in your spiritual life, if you become proud, Punar Mushiko Bhav, Prabhupada said, again become a mouse. So we have to be very, very careful. So all of these things, history repeats itself. Isolation. Bharat Maharaj was in the forest and he was very, very accomplished. But because he didn't surround himself with devotees, he fell from his spiritual practice. Complacency. Sobari Muni was doing his austerities underwater. But he was complacent. He saw two fishes copulating. He didn't think it would, but it did. Ajamil, complacency. He was in the forest. He thought, what can I be affected by? But he saw the amorous sight of a man embracing a lady, immediately became overcome by Maya. So all of these things, they happen again and again and again. So you have to be Maya cautious. But more importantly, be Krishna conscious. If you're Krishna conscious, but you're not Maya cautious, then you're walking on thin ice, as they say in English. But if you're Maya cautious, but not Krishna conscious, then your whole life you'll just be scared and you won't actually make much spiritual advancement. Therefore, the teachers tell us, be Krishna conscious, but Maya cautious. And if you take shelter of Krishna, then Krishna will give you the intelligence to understand when all of these tricks are coming, and you will be one step ahead. And in that way, you won't get captured by Maya. And in that way, life will be very, very beautiful. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Thank you very much. So, if anyone would like to ask any questions, or you have any comments, or anything I said you'd like to know more about, yes. If there's a mic here, you can take.
Hi, Krishna Maharaj. It's so nice to have you in this association. You mentioned not to feel pride, but these are some feelings that do come to us. And how is it practically possible not to feel it?
You can't feel it. You can't not feel when pride comes. We can't immediately just cancel it. But what we do is we have things in our lives which help us to ensure we don't allow that emotion to overwhelm us. The first thing is always immerse yourself in service. And ideally in your life, if you can also do some menial service, some service that nobody knows about, some service that nobody sees, some service just between you and Krishna. And in that moment, when you do that service, then you realize, I'm just a servant. I'm nothing great. So the first thing is fill your life with service. And then even when moments of pride come, your service will always bring you back into the mood of being a servant. The second thing you can do in your life to overcome pride is always surround yourself with those who are more accomplished than you. Because in their presence, in their company, in their Krishna consciousness, you realize, I got a long way to go. And therefore they say, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to change room. It doesn't mean you shouldn't be in a room of smart people. That's definitely good as well. But always be around people that challenge you in a positive way to be better. And that keeps you grounded. And the third thing you have to do is you have to constantly pray to Krishna. One time Prabhupada was giving a lecture and Prabhupada said, I will never be overcome by Maya. And then after the lecture, he went in front of the Lord and he was praying intensely. And then Mother Yamuna asked Prabhupada, what were you praying for? And Prabhupada said, I was praying to the deities that let me never be overcome by Maya. And she said, but Prabhupada, in the lecture you said you'd never be overcome by Maya. Prabhupada said, yes, because I'm always praying. In other words, we have to become prayerful. Therefore, the great teachers pray. Kaviraj Goswami says, you have to take this verse, string it on the thread of the holy name and wear it around your neck constantly. What's that verse? To be more humble than a blade of grass, to be more tolerant than a tree. Constantly our prayer. So like this, through service, through association, and through prayer, even when feelings of pride come, we can again come back down and say, it's okay, relax, don't take yourself too seriously. Who are we? Sometimes people respect us as devotees. If we turn back the clock 20, 25 years, 30 years, who were we? Where were we? What were we doing? We were just falling in this world with no idea. Who am I? Where am I going? What's the purpose of life? Nowadays, I travel the world and they call me a Swami. But then I think 30 years ago, who was I? Just a kid in Wembley. No idea. Completely in Maya. Still am. Little less maybe. It's only by the mercy of the devotees. Otherwise, we would have no chance. Who are we? We're very tiny. Even if you are 6'5", very small, very small. So then we don't take our self too seriously. Footballers do that. You know, like famous footballers, what they do is when they become like super famous, sometimes they just go back to the old football field where they were played as a kid. And then they realize, okay, don't take yourself too seriously. You're just a kid playing football here. So we're made of the mercy of the devotees. None of it is our credit. We are just, somehow or other we got lucky. So like that, no need to get proud.
Thank you, Maharaj. That was really helpful.
Thank you. Yes, sure.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maharaj. Okay. Can help how to handle complacence with more practical ways, because as you said, when we are already in this path, we may feel okay,
Yeah.
I'm fine.
So how to deal with complacency? Always have something new that you're aiming for. Always have a goal. Always have a new aspiration in Krishna consciousness. Always have something that you're trying to develop or work on or move towards. In other words, we are the Krishna consciousness movement. And that means everybody should be moving. And to move means you need to move towards a goal. So therefore, the great devotees are always having bigger and bigger goals. Like Srila Prabhupada said, my disease is that I cannot think small. I'm always thinking bigger. One time, Srila Prabhupada was driving past Buckingham Palace. You know Buckingham Palace? That's where the king lives, the queen at that time. So one time they were driving past Buckingham Palace, and one devotee said, Prabhupada, Prabhupada, one of the queen's guards has become a devotee. It was a big, big thing. One of the queen's guards has become a devotee. So they thought Prabhupada would be very impressed. Prabhupada said, nice. What about the queen? We don't want just the queen's guard. We want the queen. In other words, Prabhupada was always thinking bigger. So in a devotee's life, there's always something greater that we're trying to work towards. It could be an external goal, or it could be an internal goal, or it could be a relationship goal. It could be, but there's always something. And in that way, you're always endeavoring. The moment you don't have a goal, you don't have a dream, you don't have something you're moving towards, you're not actually living. You're dead. Dead. Life means to move. And to move means you have to be moving towards something. So we should always have a goal. Okay. Thank you so much. Anyone else like to ask a question?
Can I ask?
Sure.
Um, you mentioned us being diverted in the moment, like we think, okay, we've got a couple of things to do before we chant. Like, no, wait, I'm not there mentally. I'll do it later. And this happens to me a lot. And I feel like, no, I'm just not able to focus. And I feel like, because if you also chant with a bad mental state, then you're creating offense, right? So how do you manage this?
Yeah, there are obviously some things we have to do either before we chant. Sometimes there are things we have to do in our life, to create some kind of stable situation so that we can be peaceful when we chant. So definitely there is some truth to that. But the danger is that the material world can keep you perpetually busy trying to create the right situation. You know the story of the yogi who went to the edge of the banks and he sat down and he put his hand in his bead bag, isn't it? Put his hand in his bead bag and he said, now I will chant. And then as he put his hand on the first bead, he realized, but I've only got one dhoti. What will I wear tomorrow? So he thought, okay, let me just get one dhoti. I'll wash it, put it on the line, and then, so he got one dhoti, put it on the washing line. Okay, done. So then he sat down to chant. Dhoti is there, no problem. And then as he was about to chant the first mantra, he heard a sound. And he looked and there was a rat. And the rat was eating the dhoti. So he thought, oh my God, now I have to, this dhoti, I need it for tomorrow. So he thought, but there's a rat there now. So then again, he got up and he bought a cat. So then he kept the cat there so that the rat stays away, so that the dhoti is there so that he can chant. Okay, done, no problem. So then he began to chant. Hare. And then, meow, meow. What's wrong? There's disturbance. You realize, oh, the cat needs to be fed. The cat needs milk. So then he got up again and he got a cow. Because from the cow you get the milk to feed the cat, to keep the rat away, to ensure the dhoti is okay. So then you can chant him tomorrow. Anyway, you don't... I think you get the point here. Life keeps you perpetually busy. And we always think, if I do this, the situation will be better. But it's not actually better. Sometimes you just complicate it and make it even worse. Sometimes if you have an itch, it's better just to tolerate it. Because if you try to solve it, you'll make it even worse. So you have to be wise to know what things and what things no, and just, you have to learn sometimes how to live with chaos. Dear friends, have you learned the art of how to live with chaos? Chaos? I don't like chaos. I have to solve chaos. Sometimes you can't solve chaos. You have to live with chaos and you have to take shelter of the holy name. But if there's something you can do to make it easy and it doesn't preoccupy your whole life, by all means. But don't look for the perfect situation. There's no perfect situation. We're living in an imperfect world. All right. Thank you. Anyone else there at the back like to ask a question? No? Okay. Yes. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. You mentioned about Maya and stages of Maya. Uh, when we are trying to do something which is caught by Maya, is more or less sometimes related to happiness. Uh, if we do something, even though we know that it may not be right, but it could be something related to happiness. So my question is, should happiness be the goal of our life?
Yes. In one word. The Shastra explains that the soul is Anandamaya Bhyashat. Anandamaya Bhyashat literally means it's made of bliss. It's wired for bliss. If there's no happiness, if there's no rasa, what is the purpose of living? Therefore, Rupa Goswami says, everyone in the world is looking for rasa. Rasa means taste, pleasure. But what Rupa Goswami says is that there are two types of rasa. There is mundane rasa, material rasa, and there is bhakti rasa. So the problem is not that you look for happiness. The problem is that we're looking for the right thing in the wrong place. Because when you look for happiness in material things, then one of four things will happen. Number one, you don't get it, frustrated. Number two, you get it, but it's not what you thought it would be, frustrated. Number three, you get it, it's good, but then it fades, frustrated. And number four, you get it, it's good, it remains, but along with it, some other problem came that you didn't expect, frustrated. I challenge anyone, tell me any type of material pleasure which isn't subject to one of these four defects. You won't find it. Not possible. Open challenge. Out there on the internet. Anyone, tell me. Not possible. Because the nature of mundane rasa is it's what we call chapala sukh. Chapala sukh means it's just flickering pleasure. So therefore, why would you settle for that? In the material world, one person once came to me, said, I only need 3 things to be happy: time, money, and health. I said, when you're young, you have time, you have health. Nahi, paisa nahi, no money. In your middle age, you have lots of money. And you have health, no time. And when you're old, you have so much time, so much money, no health. The material world is wired to frustrate you. And unintelligent people are trying to make a happy situation in a prison. Why are you trying to move from a smaller prison cell to a bigger prison cell? It makes no sense. Get out. So yes, by all means be happy. But know where happiness is to be found. This is the basic problem of the world. All right? Thank you. All right, yes.
In the story that you just talked about, why didn't
Which story? Or the yogi story?
Yes, why didn't the cat just eat the mouse and then it got hungry anymore?
This is a highly philosophical point, you know. I don't know if you ever watched Tom and Jerry. Did you ever watch Tom and Jerry? So did Jerry ever catch the mouse?
No.
So it's not so easy to catch a mouse. You know why he never caught the mouse? Because the cat was running for food, but the mouse was running for his life. And when you're running for your life, you can always run faster than the guy who's running for food. Anyway, that was just an extra philosophical point. Tom and Jerry, one of my favorites, personally. So yeah, couldn't catch the mouse. What to do? Thank you so much for that illumination. You had a question, Yogamaya?
Maharaj, I have a question. What about emotions? What we can catch and we can
Emotions?
when we get something. For example, if I have resentment for someone, resentment in my heart, and I cannot let it go, and it's not easy to forgive someone, but you need to serve with this person, and you don't want to leave this service or this place in common.
Yeah.
But it's you also.
It's hard to let it go.
Yeah, you are in Maya also, and what to do with this? Yes.
Yeah, we have all these feelings against other people. It's so hard in this world to forgive other people. The goal of life is not to remember all the terrible things that somebody did to you. The goal of life is to remember all the beautiful things that Krishna is doing for you every day. But the amazing thing is, when our mind is hijacked by all that negativity, we leave no room to see the beauty of life. Do we want to walk around the community and constantly be looking at everyone feeling some negative? It's not nice, isn't it? Mandela, you know Nelson Mandela, right? When he came out of the prison, unjustly prisoned for so many years, A devotee came to him and offered him the Bhagavad Gita. So he said, I already read it in prison. One of my fellow inmates was a Hindu. He gave it to me. So devotee said, oh, you read the Bhagavad Gita. What did you learn from it? And he said, what I learned from it is that the day I walked free from prison, if I didn't also give up my bitterness, my anger, and my resentment towards the people who put me in prison, even though being free from prison, I'd still be in prison. Actually, the only prison is our own emotions. So how do we overcome it? What we have to do with emotions is we have to process them. If you try to ignore emotions, it's like food in your stomach which is undigested, which just keeps churning. And if you try to express and let your emotions loose, you'll cause 10 times more problems. So don't lock up your emotions and don't let your emotions loose. What you need to do is learn how to process your emotions. How do you do that? First thing is speak to someone. Yeah. Even I have a therapist. He's not a formal therapist, but I have devotees who I go to and I just speak about things. And sometimes when you speak about it and you express it, you realize it's okay, it's not as bad as I. So one thing you can do is speak to someone to process it. The second way we process it is through transcendental knowledge. It's said that a Kanistha Adhikari sees the scripture through their emotions. But a Madhyama sees their emotions through the scriptures. A beginner person, they're guided by their emotions, and when they look at the scripture, they just find what they want to find. But when one is more elevated, they see their emotions through the scripture. And therefore, through transcendental knowledge, through higher intelligence, we learn to see our emotions in a different way. And we don't become so controlled by them. And the third thing I would say, which goes with a caution and can be done if you're very mature, is just speak to the person. So many problems of the world could be solved if instead of talking about each other, we talk to each other. If it's possible, if they're open and if you're stable enough, sometimes we just have to talk to someone. It's very nice actually. Nowadays what I do is when I go into different places, if I know that there's someone who has a different opinion to me, I purposely sit with them. I'm like, let's talk. I know that they disagree with me. I know that they have a different opinion to me. I know that they look at life in a different way to me. I'm like, let's talk. It's actually very nice. But otherwise, what we generally do is when someone is different to us, then we move them as far as possible. Oh no, stay away. And then what happens is in our mind, we invent more and more of a story about that person, but we didn't speak to them. Therefore, we have to become mature to speak to people. In the world today, people just don't speak to each other anymore. Over one small thing. And 27 years ago on that Thursday morning at 11:13 outside the supermarket, you said that. You're thinking like, my God, you remember that? It's amazing. People hold on and then you lose a whole friendship just because of a few things. Don't waste any friendship. At the end of life, if you have many friends, if you have many people smiling on you, if you have many people who are looking at you saying, a nice person, that's going to give you all the strength. Don't waste any relationship. Don't waste any friendship. Don't think, anyway, throw that one away. Plenty more fish in the sea. No, no. Every relationship is valuable. Don't waste it. Yeah. Anyway, easy to say, not so easy to live. Let's try. Thank you. Sorry, was that? Whoever wants to speak, if you just use the mic.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I have a question related to this mundane happiness and Bhakti Rasa.
Yes.
Bhakti Rasa, it is quite difficult to feel, understand, or appreciate. But mundane happiness is
You haven't
quite
had prasadam?
Yeah, we have. But mundane happiness is quite accessible, somehow temporarily we feel. But is there a way we can transform mundane happiness to Bhakti Rasa slowly, tiny by tiny, just move that scale higher level?
See, the problem is not that bhakti rasa isn't immediately pleasurable. That's not the problem. The problem is that we have no taste. If you want to taste rasa, first you have to become a rasika. One philosopher, you know how he defines rasa theology? The taster tastes the taste because they have good taste. This is rasa. The taster tastes the taste because they have good taste. In other words, if someone doesn't have good taste, if they're not a rasika, then they will not be able to relish something which is full of rasa. So right now, we are gravitating towards material rasa. You see here, this is an inclination. Understand, no? So now, if I pour water, which direction is it going to go? That's why material things are pleasurable to us, because we are inclined in the wrong way. But what happens is, through spiritual practice, you incline yourself in another way. And then all the bhakti rasa becomes so effortless. And all the material rasa, you can't even stand to see it. And already you have experienced that. Because nowadays you walk past McDonald's and you're like, nah, it's okay. No taste. Because you have the higher taste. So therefore, in the beginning, you have to reacquire the taste, because we're inclined in the wrong way. But Prabhu, you've done this in all aspects of life. You never wanted to study, I'm guessing. Maybe sometimes, who wants to study? But you did it because you knew there was a greater gain. There were so many things you didn't want to tolerate, but you tolerated it because you knew there's a greater gain. So we've done this even for material things. It's not that every single material thing that we did was immediately like Anand. How many types of material happiness you experienced that required so much struggle? We did it. It's just that we don't have the faith. We don't have the faith that if I give my mind and my heart to this, that I will experience something. So therefore, through philosophy, association, practice, the faith develops. And then you're willing to do anything. All right. Thank you. All right, I think we have to end here. Oh,
We'll take a break. Questions are different. Things always change in this material world, and the questions are very different. So you can now log in. Okay, it's loading up. Okay, so the way this works is, please have a spiritual name, if possible, a bhakti yoga, nice spiritual name. Not everyone has to be named Krishna. You can switch it up a little bit. And what you have to do is you go to this website, kahoot.it, and if you, Vaishnavi, okay, so Vaishnavi's won this quiz yesterday, but again, like I said, the questions are different, so don't worry. Okay, there's a few Haribols. Good. Can everyone see the screen? I think it's a little bit smaller than yesterday, but hopefully you can see that. Okay, good. We've got 11 participants.
Can you put the QR bigger?
So you don't have to do the QR code. You could just go to the website, so kahoot.it, and then if you just type in that pin, you'll be able to join. If there's anyone having technical difficulties next to you, it's always nice to help out a neighbor.
Okay.
Oh wow, is that Russian? I don't actually know what language that is. That's amazing. What does it mean? Vlad. Oh, it's a name. Okay, I thought it was Prashadam. I think we had the burfis yesterday. There's no rasgullas or anything like that today. Feel free to be creative.
We get gifts for the quiz.
So I think there's only 3 or 4.
Asking if there's a prize for a kid who's in a quiz.
Okay, so yes, this happens every time we do a quiz. The first question is there a prize? I'll let you know towards the end of the session. So we'll see what the leaderboard's looking like. Okay, I think we're almost there. Okay, let's have a go. So if you didn't get to join, don't worry. You can just pair up with the person next to you. So this is for double points. I'm a very generous person. So I'm starting off with double points. What does Maya mean? So you just pick on your phone what color. You don't have to tell me the answer, you tell your phone the answer. Okay, 41 of you have answered. Okay, and the answer was illusion. Very good. Only 2 people picked illusion. So well done. Apologies, I know I did click it prematurely, but it did say that your participation limit has reached. So luckily it didn't ask me to pay and things like that. But yeah, if you can just pair up, if you've got someone next to you, then you can all be a team. It's always good. Okay, so you get the gist of this quiz. You should have been really attentive in class. Okay, so you just
Maharaj class or your class?
Maharaj.
Maharaj class.
And the okay, the Vaishnavis are in the lead. Well done. Okay, I didn't even ask this yesterday. So okay, so we have. Oh wow, we've got double points again. This world is. Ooh, what is it? Oh, real but temporary, heal but internal, real but eternal, and meal but temporary. Yeah, apologies for those that can't see it because at the speed that I read, then the answer might have finished. Yes, well done, 42 of you got the right answer. Real but temporary. Wow, the Vaishnavis are trying. Hare Krishna! Amazing. Well done to Hare Krishna. Okay. Now we've got the next question. Double points again. Krishna is like the, and Maya is like the sun, darkness, 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 sun, father, darkness. Oh, yeah.
Krishna is black. It's difficult. Krishna is also black.
Hare Krishna, it was sun and darkness. But not this one, that one. Okay, very well. Good. So Maharaj, you can gauge how attentive, the attention levels. It's kind of dropping. It's a bit worrying. Like the incline. Good. Okay. What's the scores? That's what everyone wants to know. So is there some movement? Hari Bol is moving up. Okay, Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada's practice there. Very good. Well done to Radharani, who has a streak of 3 correct answers. Okay. Okay, no double points this time. My service is known as Jagat Mohini, Jagadisha Maharaj, Jagannath Murthy, and Jaguar Mohan. Wow, well done. 42 of you. Jagat Mohini, very well done. You can see my imagination starts to wither away at different answers. I'm like, I know what the right answer is, but I don't know what to make the wrong answer. But like that. Well done. Okay. So the small board. Whoa, Hare Krishna is staying on top. Whoa, amazing. Okay. Partha, well done to Partha. Moving up 6th place. Okay, Maya comes from the and gives you a kick. From the northwest, from the right, from the back, or from the left. Which direction, guys? Oh, one person said from the right. Wow. Okay, that's a variation of the kick. Amazing. Okay. Wow. If you notice that the person next to you is like Hare Krishna or Hare Bol or Shiva Prabhupada's typewriter, you can just try and sabotage it. I've seen that. What are the 3 main types of yoga in the Bhagavad Gita? So you got Kurma Bhakti Jnana, Bhakti Karma Jansen, Karma Bhakti Mukti, and Karma Bhakti Jnana.
I like it.
Jay! Wow. One person was like, Jansen, my name is there. Okay, yes, it is Karma, Bhakti, and Jnana. So those devotees that did come to yesterday's program when we did it, and then your face might lit up like, oh, this is the same question as yesterday, but you may have noticed I've chosen completely different options. So again, don't worry, you're not on the back foot if you didn't. I'm loud anyway. Okay. If that happens again, we can okay, good. Ooh, Rasika. Well done to Rasika, moving into the leaderboard. Well done. True or false? Humility comes from the word humus. Come on, guys. You were listening. Sorry, the options are true or false. There's nothing more on there. And if you know the answer, you don't need to look at me and say, oh, it's true. It's like, just tap it on your phone. That'll get you the points. Don't worry. I'm impressed by you anyway. Wow. Oh, Krishna. Wow, we got a... This is humbling for you guys, right? Like, so can anyone tell me why not? Like, I heard it from Maharaj too. I was at the back of the class. Does anyone put their hand up and say?
It's from Latin, from the soil.
From Latin. But this looks like Latin a little bit.
No, this is, you eat.
Oh, it's the chickpea. Oh, okay, yes, exactly. So this is hummus. So we eat. Okay? And I'm making an admission. I'm English. I've been born and raised in the UK. I wouldn't have known the difference too. I wouldn't say. Okay. The scoreboard. This tricked you. Haribol is at the top and Gorunga is slowly approaching. So well done. Okay, true or false again. There are over 8 million yoga positions. So this isn't the time to philosophize like, oh, I wonder if I can count them and so on. Like, you have to be quick. What do you think? This is the most confused faces I've seen. Just pick one. Okay, so I actually had this. I had this quiz checked by a devotee, and they said, "Oh, Prabhu, are you sure about this?" And I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "How are you going to explain this in front of everyone?" I was like, "Don't worry." So that's the moment now. I did yoga teacher training, and this is what I heard from my gurus. Okay, that might not satisfy you as an answer, but in terms of how many life forms are there? 8.4 million, yeah, species. So it's said that as many, types of embodiments there are, living entities, there are as many yoga positions. Okay. Now again, I don't want anyone getting like sunk on me like, oh, we need to count each one and you have to tell me all of them. Don't worry, it's in the scriptures. We have a bit of faith. We don't worry about it, right? Like that. Good. Okay. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada's typewriter has come right back in, and Hari Hari is also there. Okay. What are the three gates leading to degradation? Lust, anger, and greed. Lust, anger, and greed. Lust, anger, and greed.
You get
Lust, anger, and greed.
sponsored. You get sponsored by the company.
Wow, that was so quick. All of you just answered. Okay, so let's see how you got along with that. Again, nothing's changed with the leaderboard. Nothing's changed with the leaderboard. Okay, we're halfway there. There's still a chance your name can be on the leaderboard. Awesome. Okay, number 10. In middle age, what do you not have enough of? Money, health, wealth, or time? Thank you for telling me the answer, but you tell your phone the answer too. Yeah, how about that? Very good. Yeah, two people are just indecisive. I can't do it. Wow, okay, there's an even distribution of the wrong answers, but we've got 41 of you said time, so well done. Well done. Wow, Goranga is on fire. That's amazing. 10 correct answers. Well done. Well done, Goranga. True or false? If you could fold a piece of paper 42 times, it would reach the moon. Okay, I'm glad no one's trying to experiment themselves in this room, so that's always nice. Whoa, that's quite equal balance. So 26 people got that right, and 20 people got that wrong. 0 points. Okay, we'll check it out. Don't worry. What phone have you got? Have you got Android or Apple? Oh, actually, I've got Apple too. They're good. I like it. Okay. Oh, you know what I did? I didn't put any points because I asked this yesterday, and the people that were here yesterday, I was looking at your faces, and you're like, Prabhu doesn't know I was here. But there's no points anywhere, so don't worry, we're all winners here. Okay, let's try the next one. Okay, the quiz. Fill in the gap. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is something. So, what is that something? It's easy. It's chilling. It's difficult. Or it's long. Okay, I hope you guys are just reading out what's on the board. Someone's like, oh, chilling. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Amazing. Okay, one person really wants to chill. Chilling. Chilling. It's difficult. Hold on. Yeah, you need to tell me your secret. If you're easy or chilling, it's like, oh, what are you doing? Okay. Oh, staying the same, okay? Consistent. Nearly there. Third. T-shirts are called that, or t-shirts, because they were originally dyed with tea leaves. True or false? There's not enough time to Google, my friends. I know some of you are frantically typing away. And then some of you have got ChatGPT. AI, can you tell me the right answer? Some of you have too many tabs open already. You don't know which one you're in. Yes, that is false. That is false. Okay, so is anyone quite scientific here? Science background? Scientist? You're a scientist. Okay, so but can you tell me why do you think t-shirts are called t-shirts? Oh, they're in a t-shape. Yes, well done. We have a round of applause. We've got a scientist here. That's the scary part of doing true and false questions. If I know it's wrong, I'm like, oh great, it's wrong. Then I might not know the right answer. So thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. And the scoreboard. Wow. Okay. So it looks like it's a 2-horse race, but it could always change between Haribol and Garanga. So let's see. True or false? You're letting the cold air into a room when you open a window in winter. Is that true or false?
How is it connected?
So some of the real pure devotees say like, oh, this is not to do with the class, or it's not to do with Bhakti. Don't worry, there's a hidden meaning behind a lot of these things. Okay, so it's false. So we need an explanation here. So I heard one child, or it sounded like a child. Apologies if it's not a child, but they're like, what? That's wrong. So I do want to hear an explanation. Does anyone want to give us an explanation? Any other scientists in here? At the back. Okay, you're gonna have to shout out your answer. Whoa, well done. Heat escapes. Heat escapes. A lot of you are thinking that practically. When I show this question, you're like, yeah, it's really hot in here. Like, what's happening? But yes, that is the case. So, again, we asked this yesterday, so I made it for no point. So don't worry, you're not losing out.
No points.
Okay, we've got the last few questions. What are the 5 tricks of Maya? Oh, it's a long. Complacency, price, hopelessness, isolation, diversion. Complacency, pride, hopelessness, isolation, diversion. Complacency, pride, happiness, isolation, diversion, and complacency, pride, hopelessness, isolation, and inversion. Wow. Okay, that's really high. That's really good. A lot of you are quick readers as well. So well done to you. Okay, next question. Double points. How many verses are there in the Bhagavad Gita? How many do you think?
10, 15.
Wow, that is really high. 40 of you got that right. Yes, it is 700. Some of you were shouting out numbers to me, and I was like, oh, it's not even an option, but yes, it's actually 700. So well done to you. Okay. Ooh, Gauranga has risen! Amazing! That's amazing. So Gauranga is in the lead. Well done to Vaishnavis, you're getting back on track. Okay, true or false? Bananas are curved because they grow towards the sun. Sorry, this question's there because you had bananas during the break, so I tried to make it relevant to today. So, what's that mean? You can think about that banana that you ate earlier. You can meditate on it. It's the thing. Is it true? Is it false?
Yes.
Oh wow, that's impressive. That's balance. 21 people, 22. You forget it. That's okay. I won't ask for a sign. Actually, should I? Any other scientists left in the room? I think it's a bit saturated. Okay, so don't worry about the explanation because it's not too much. It's material nature. Wow. Okay. Last question. This is the last one. Spiritual life is difficult, but material life is impossible, impossible, and very nice.
Impossible. Very nice guy. No.
Wow, amazing. Yes. So 32, you got that right. So, who do you think's in the lead? Any people that can predict the future here? Who do you think? Okay, let's see. Some of you are just saying Hari Bol because you can't remember the name. It's all good. Okay, so I called it duplicate of the duplicate of following three. Go Ranga is third. Amazing. We've got Devanagari in second. So can we have a shout out to? Is it Hari Bol? It's Hari Bol! And everyone else is doing okay, I think. Slowly. Jay, there you all are. We're just missing Tilak though. It's okay. Okay, so thank you very much. Who is Hari Bol? We need to know who Hari Bol is.
And who is Gaurang behind?
Nah. Yeah. Oh, she's so humble. She's like, can we have a loud Hari Bol for Anjali? Okay, now back to the serious stuff.
You give Dina a round of applause. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and being so attentive. And we're coming towards the end. We are going to end with a big kirtan. But before we do that, we do have a little bit of time, 15 minutes or so. If anyone, it's okay. Yeah, just turn it away. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. That was just to wake you up. Yeah, we have a little bit of time if anyone would like to ask any questions or whether there's anything that we discussed today that you would like to know more about, or even if you have some general question in Krishna consciousness or on your spiritual journey, then we can try to share something with you. So yeah, we have about 15 minutes. If some people feel like a little shy to ask on the mic, then you can also write it on a piece of paper and then you can send it forward. So yeah, does anyone have any questions they would like to ask? Or yes, what is commitment for me? Thank you so much. Commitment means to continue doing something when it doesn't necessarily bring you some immediate joy or happiness or pleasure or gratification. Commitment is required in whatever we do in our life. Commitment is required in relationships. Because it's not that when you're with someone at every moment it's going to be amazing. but because you know that there's something greater that you're trying to achieve together, you remain with that person. Commitment is required in devotional service, because sometimes you're serving and there are days when you feel like you don't want to. But when we show up for Krishna, then Krishna shows up for us. And then we get more insight, more experience. Commitment is required in any endeavor or any duty that you perform in the material world. And so, if we want to live a life in which we don't feel regret, then it means we have to have commitment. I tell people the pain of discipline or the pain of commitment is uncomfortable, but the pain of regret is unbearable. So it's difficult to be committed in a world where people just jump from one thing to the next. But those who stay committed, they achieve amazing things. So it's such an important quality in the world we're living in today. Is that okay? Thank you. Yeah, you have to come or you just say it and then I'll repeat it. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. So when it comes to dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, does it fit under any of the three modes, or is it beyond the three? It fits under the three modes, right? Like in Srimad Bhagavatam, somewhere I don't remember in which chapter and which sloka. So devotional service is beyond those. So my question is, if I am working in an office, I can compromise on some work office hours and do my devotional service. Is it all right? Because I am doing it for the paro dharma and I am diluting my materialistic dharma. And I am going for some purpose. Office is paying me to go to some business trip. I go there. Okay, I am doing my materialistic dharma. I am also doing my paro dharma, visiting a local temple and something. So this compromise, is it actually okay as per scriptures?
All right. Is it okay to call in sick if there's a festival at the Hare Krishna temple and you're going to end up going to the festival? Okay, let's do a survey. Who believes that if Janmashtami is coming and you have to go to work on that day, that it is spiritually okay to call in the morning and say you are sick when actually you're jumping 6 meters into the sky in a kirtan? Who believes it's okay to call in sick? Put your hand up. Hopefully your boss is not in the room. Who believes it's wrong to do that? They don't work, that's right. So is it okay or is it not? The answer is yes and no. Yes, it is okay to do it because, as you mentioned, the highest duty in the world is to pursue our spiritual life, and that's the top priority. And therefore, in life, there's always a hierarchy of principles. And therefore, the highest principle is what is beneficial to the soul. And therefore, that goes even beyond material principles of ethics and morals. However, there is something else to consider. Because what happens is if you become untruthful, if you become irresponsible, if you become uncommitted in your material duties, then what might end up happening is you take those same qualities and it starts also entering your spiritual life as well. Because whatever you do in one part of your life and whatever character you develop in one part of your life will then affect what you do in another part of your life. So if you lie for a good reason, there might be some reason to do it, but the danger is that you may develop that kind of character and think it's okay to lie. And then it might harm your spiritual life. And therefore, generally, we try to follow dharma and bhakti side by side. But in some acute situations, when dharma becomes an impediment to bhakti, and dharma, and you have a very mature outlook, then in some cases you may also give up your dharma. But you have to be very careful. The gopis gave up their dharma. They ran when Krishna played the flute. But they were in a very high level of spiritual purity. If we are not on that level of purity, then we may be running away, not just because of Krishna's flute, but because also we don't like the boss so much anyway. Let's use spiritual life as an excuse. So we have to be careful. So the ideal is to follow dharma and bhakti side by side, and to do your dharma or your duty in such a way that it contributes to your bhakti. So if you have to go to work on Janmashtami day, then have a festival at work. You maybe try to bring some spiritual element into it. Is that okay?
So, Maharaj, in that case, when we don't follow the dharma, are we going to incur some karmic reactions? Because
No, if you completely surrender to Krishna. Devarshi bhutapta nrinam pitrinam nakinkaro nayam rini charajan sarvatmana ya sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam pariritya kartam. This tells us that when we're born in the world, we have debts. You have debts to the demigods. You have debts to your mother and father. You have debts to the rishis. And how do you repay all of those debts? By following your dharma. But if you surrender to Krishna entirely, then Krishna says, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishami ma sucha. I relieve you from everything. But you have to surrender. And surrender means to give your heart, your mind, your body, your everything. If you're not ready to surrender, then if you give up your dharma, there may be certain reactions. But if you surrender, Krishna says, Moksha Yishyami, I relieve you. Because the highest dharma is to develop love. Alright?
Maharaj, when it comes to the surrender, sorry.
but surrendering, when you say, is it always surrendering or only on that Janmashtami day surrendering?
Once you surrender, you can't go back into Maya.
When it comes to the surrender, there are two styles. One is Draupadi, how Draupadi followed, where she tried to hold on to the sari until she's completely exhausted, then left her hands. When it comes to Prahlad, he did not try to protect himself. So the ultimate surrender, even without trying, like the other stage, where the Draupadi tried to hold on and then left it. So which is the ultimate surrender?
It's not that Prahlad didn't try, but Prahlad knew that my effort in this situation will not be strong enough. So therefore he didn't even try. What chance did Prahlad have if you put him in throw him off a cliff? What endeavor are you going to make? What chance did Prahlad have if you throw him in a pit of snakes? What are you going to do? In other words, surrender doesn't mean that we don't endeavor. But it means once we've recognized the limits of our endeavor, then we say, Jo icha tomar. Now it's up to you, whatever you want. So surrender means to know the natural point at which you have to let go. And for Draupadi, that was at a certain point. And for Prahlad, that was at a certain point. And for us, that will be at a certain point. But karmanyeva dhikarascha. You have to do your duty. You have to do your endeavor. And then at a certain point, you will realize, now it's out of my hands. Now I surrender. But you can't show up for your exams without doing any revision and say, Jo icha tomar. Surrender now, Krishna, in the exam hall. Fully surrendered to you. It's all in your hands. All right? You had a lot of questions. I ask some others first and then we come back to you. Is that okay? Because we are in a democracy. So we have to give everyone equal chance. Yes, at the back. We are bringing a mic to you because you are very gentle and very humble, so we can't hear you.
Maharaj, you said that we should be conscious of Maya
Mhm.
and Krishna conscious. But what is the best way to protect yourself of Maya?
What's the best way to protect ourselves against Maya? There could be many answers to that. Many things give us spiritual strength. We get spiritual strength from being together. So always make an effort, like you made an effort. You traveled all the way to come and be part of the programs. And Krishna sees you made an effort. He gives you much blessings. So make an effort. Yes, all of you came. You could have tuned in on Zoom, I think. But you didn't. You came here in person because there's a strength. There's a strength when we're together. You leave with some extra gift. So always be with devotees. Even if you have to travel, even if you have to go far, even if you have to make an endeavor. Because in this Sangha, the heart is transformed. Second thing is, spend some time with Krishna every day. Away from Maya, only with Krishna. And those times in which you do sadhana will give you strength. And then we have to pray. You have to pray. Because we are weak. And spiritual life is like a razor's edge. So we have to pray that after many, many lifetimes, I got this opportunity to perfect it. Krishna, please, don't make me lose it this time. When I came to the Hare Krishna temple, a devotee said to me, there's good news and bad news. I said, the good news first, please. He said, the good news is, you were already doing this. Nothing new for you. You were there. I said, I knew there was something special about me. I said, the bad news? The bad news is you messed it up. Something went wrong. Why are we all here? It means we were doing it. But it means something went wrong. It means we got attached to something. And therefore, go to school one more time. Do your exams one more time. Get married. That's good. That's a good thing. I'm joking. Spiritual relationships are different. It's we've given so many lives to Maya. Let's give one life to Krishna. Try it out. See what happens. Anyway, if it doesn't work out, you'll have another one. Sorry about the marriage joke. You are a great team. All right. Can we give you the mic, just because then everyone can hear? It's a little. Just put your hand up. Oh, you have your hands full.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, specifically in your situation, what called you to be in Krishna consciousness?
What called me?
Yeah.
Oh.
What call did you have to be in it?
Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to talk about myself. I love to talk about myself. Every soul is amazing. And the first thing I want to share with you is that I don't really see that my journey is anything more special than anyone else. All of you are special, because anyone who takes up to the spiritual path is special. Krishna says, 1 in a million. For me in my life, I was looking for 3 things. Poseidon. I was looking for 3 things. I was about 17 years old, and I was like, if these 3 things are on in my life, there's no life. And you want to know what those were? They're the 3 A's. Authenticity, answers, and adventure. I wanted to live a life, authenticity, in which I felt like I wasn't acting. I wanted to live a life which I felt was really me, not just what everyone else wanted me to be. I wanted to live a life in which I woke up in the morning and I thought, I'm doing this because this is what I want to do. Number 2, I wanted a life in which there were answers. Why are we here? Why do bad things happen to good people? Why does this world even exist in the first place, and what happens after? I wanted answers. And the 3rd thing is I wanted an adventure. I wanted to do something which would bring me experiences, which would bring me excitement, which would bring me enthusiasm in my life. A life in which I would explore, discover, and live the dream. So I was always wondering in my life, where will I find these 3 things? And then I met the Hare Krishnas. And they said to me, don't worry, you don't need to change your life. Just try, see what happens. Don't trust them. But it was very beautiful, because when I spent time with them, I realized this is a life in which I can be authentic. I don't have to act. I can just be myself. This is a life in which these guys got an answer for everything. It's amazing. And this life is an adventure. Because every day you have the opportunity to go out and touch someone's heart. You may or may not know it, but the spiritual wealth that you have means you can go out in the world and touch someone's heart. You can change someone's life. What can be more adventurous than that? And so I realized I can do this every day. That's amazing. So here I am, not very impressive, but At least I can be authentic. At least I found answers. And for sure, every day is an adventure in the Hare Krishna movement. You never know what's going to happen, but something's going to happen. How old am I now? 21. I turned 44. So I became a monk when I was 21. Started reading the Gita when I was 15 or 16. So yeah, when I was 21. I went home and said, Mom, I want to become a monk. But my mom's happy now. 50%. So yeah. But everyone's journey. We all have a journey. Grihe thako vane thako sada hari bole dako. Whether you decide to become a sannyasi, whether you decide to get married, doesn't really matter. Grihe thako vane thako sada hari bole dako. Just fill your life with spiritual practice, and then it's beautiful. Being a monk doesn't make your life beautiful. Being married doesn't make your life beautiful. What makes your life beautiful is if you fill your life with Krishna. Then it doesn't matter where you are. So you can do it. You have a child, it's a gift from Krishna. But now don't just be a parent, be a spiritual parent. Because that soul was entrusted to you. Because you have to help that soul go back to Krishna in this life. But in order to help that soul go back to Krishna, first you have to make sure you're going back to Krishna. So, become Krishna conscious and share it. And in that way, it's beautiful. The grass is always greener on the other side. But actually the grass is greener where you water it. So just accept it. Wherever you are, stane stita, shrutigatam tanuvandana. Wherever you are, it's okay. You know, sometimes you get stuck in a traffic jam. And then you think, I'm one step ahead of everyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the sat-nav. And I'm going to reroute to circumvent the traffic jam. And so what you do is you think you're smart. So what you do is you reroute the sat-nav and then you come off the traffic jam road. And then you're just cruising and you think, one step ahead of everyone. But then 1 mile down the road, you realize that another 1,000 people were thinking the same thing. And there's a traffic jam there. And now you're in a traffic jam on the longer route. And you think, why didn't I just stay there? Dear friends, life is like this. We always think, I need to reroute and be somewhere else. Maybe. Most of the time, just accept it. And just get on with the real business. Fill your life with Krishna. Alright, sorry, I'm going on a tangent here. We tend to do this. Thank you for your question. Alright, there's many hands here, but I don't know what we want to do. Okay, so there are two options at this point. We do the kirtan now, right?